Hi, Merry Christmas. I'm trying to just show a little bit about me making meat pies. I'm working on my second batch just to share with my Niger wives and African wives and what have you. So this is just me sifting the flour, and here's one that I actually already made. So I'm going to try to just do little snippets and pause it in between. So the first thing I'm doing is sifting 4 cups of flour. I'm trying not to make a mess with it. I don't have a flour sifter, I just use this. I'll get back to you. So I got this recipe from All Nigerian Cooking on YouTube. She's a good lady. She has a lot of good recipes. Unfortunately, I forgot to film for you guys, so I just want to show you what my filling looks like. It's ground beef, carrots, potatoes. I put thyme, turmeric, salt and pepper. It tastes pretty good. But her recipe is a little different. I just added some more of my own stuff. Of course, I put Maggi in there, like always. You have to do that, right? Or it wouldn't be Nigerian. So after I cook all that, I leave it to cool down. And then make the dough, which I'm doing right now. I'm just adding to my 4 cups of flour a teaspoon of baking powder. This is after I sifted it. So I put too much last time and it made the crust too much like a biscuit. I don't like that. I like a regular pie dough. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of salt. Teaspoons, sorry. Her pie dough is pretty basic. Powder, the flour, the baking powder, the salt, and then you just cut in a pound of butter into it. Our margarine, she said using margarine is the best way, but I'm gonna put the link because it's one that I use all the time and I really like it. This is some of what my last batch of dough looked like. But anyway, it's hard for me to hold the phone and do this at the same time. Plus, I didn't want to do Facebook Live. So this is it, little bit by little bit. Here's my butter. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to get a stand mixer for Christmas. Whatever I get, I'm buying that one for myself anyway. So what I do, you can do it just with your hand, but I like to use this to cut it into the dough. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my spoon. I hope you guys are all getting ready for Christmas and that you're having a blessed one. I just scoop it in there. Right out of the container. Scoop in a few scoops at a time. I just cut it in. This mixes it better, I think. The only thing is I really need to get in there with my hands in a minute. I make sure also that I have sanitized my counter. I sanitize it well, I rinse it well and dry it out so it's nice and clean. Because I'm going to be taking these to the hospital where I work for my co-workers. Today I already delivered to my group homes. I'm a facilities nurse at the group homes. I help them with medication sheets. I help them with staff training. I help them with client intakes, like I do a head-to-toe assessment and physical, a nurse assessment, they call it. Yeah, it's looking good. Starting to get pebbly. I'm going to put a little bit more. So the first batch I made this morning, I took over there to the various group homes. The Lord has blessed me a lot just this month alone. You know, when you're coming toward the end of the year and you look back at all the Lord has done for you, maybe he didn't give you the miracle you wanted, but maybe he did. He's kept you for the year, and he can do a last minute miracle. I got 4 new group homes in just the space of 2 weeks, and it's in the month of December that the Lord did it. He did my last of the month miracle for me, and I'm just thanking God. See, it's starting to look crumbly. I'm going to dig in with my hands, and I'll try to show you again in a minute. Okay, so I'm getting in here. You can see it's starting to get crumbly looking. It's starting to look good. I'll be back. Okay, so you crumble it up so it kind of looks like this. This actually looks better than what I did earlier where I added too much baking powder. And then you start to make a ball, and you add just a little bit of water to help you form that ball. Not too much, because then it'll be too sticky. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let me just get a bowl, see if I can do it on camera. I'm just going to add a little, see? It's not even going to be that much. And I will crumble it in and start making it into a ball. I'll be back. Okay, so here's the little ball that I made. It looks a little wet, but it's not too bad. I mean, you want it to be just a tiny bit, because I'm just gonna let it sit. I have to cover it and let it sit for a little bit. Then I'll show you how I roll them out. Okay, so I'm gonna try to position the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Let me clean that. There. Oh, clean it again. Okay. So I put some aluminum foil on my pans. I'm going to put a little cooking spray. Just to keep it from stickiness. It's not a lot. And if you have like a pan that you don't want to put aluminum, you don't have to. So the next thing I'm going to do is make an egg wash. Just put 1 egg in my bowl. I'm coming. I needed to take out a fork. So, and then I add just a tiny tap of a little bit of water. Not too much. So this is going to be used to seal it and to glaze it at the end. Oh, that's good. I'm very sloppy. I'm glad you can't see the counter, but I am going to position the camera so you can see the counter in a minute. I've made a mess. Wouldn't be the first time. That's one of the things I'm good at, making messes. So I've had this sitting for a little bit. Oh, that might work. I had this sitting for a little bit, and I'm going to take it out and knead it again. I have a little bit of flour I'm just going to use to dust the counter with. But first I gotta wipe the egg off. I don't want icky, yucky, sticky. I use a lot of paper towels. Thankfully from Costco I can get a whole bunch at a time. I have a secret. Does anybody else's husband save paper towels to use for later? Because they don't want to throw it out. They're afraid to waste. I'd never do that. What's the point of having a paper towel? Shh, don't tell him I said anything. I think it's funny. I was telling him I was going to make this for my group, that we all give each other support because, you know, of the culture differences and, you know, all of that. So I used the lid of a pan. I've used this already a little bit. Let me wipe it. It's good. It's almost like a giant cookie cutter. It makes a perfect round circle. Ooh. But even when I do that, they still don't come out to be the same size. Don't ask me why. So here's my little ball. I think I do need to add a little flour to it. I think I might have put a little bit too much water earlier. And I'm just gonna Mix it again. See, it looks good. This is how it's supposed to look. I'm just getting a little flour on it to get rid of the tackiness. But, you know, I also put flour on the counter so that I can, and I just take a big ball at a time. She does hers different. She makes all her little balls ahead of time, but I don't do that. This I have to work with the way that I understand, so I start making the ball. I've kneaded this pretty good. You don't want to overwork pie dough. Pie dough is different than cake or bread. You don't want to overwork it. So I'm just going to roll this out. I like to make it very thin. I don't like meat pie crust to be thick. I want it thin and flaky. There's so many different recipes that you can find for meat pie. I saw one where the lady put an egg in her dough, but to me that makes it like cake. I don't see how that would be pie-like. It would be more cake-like. Ah, it's rolling up on me. Come on, stay there. So I just do it as thin as possible, and then I cut it with my little pan lid. I can do a couple at a time if I roll it out right. You want to be careful because, you know, if you take too much, this stuff, once you roll it out, it's not as nice as, you know, when you first have the ball. So, and I'll just show you, instead of cutting out more right now, I'll just show you what I do next. Because I know you don't want to see me on video all day long. You have other things to do. I myself like to roll it just a little bit more, just to get it so where I can work with it. Then I take the egg wash a little bit and just run the egg along the side so it's going to stick together. Just a little bit. And then I take some of the meat pie filling. Scoop it up. I try not to put too much. It's hard to know. Like, I just make a little ridge here. Sorry, I'm scooping into the camera here. Yeah. I want it to be the perfect amount. So a couple spoonsful or one big spoonful. Then I roll it on top. I just kind of pull it over gently and I press down. My son went to Texas for Christmas. My husband and I will be working. So I'm just trying to do stuff now. Oh, here I go again. I forgot my fork. I'll be back. So once you get it bent over, you're going to just seal it with a fork. I don't know if you can see me doing that. Now, I've seen some people score them at the top and some people not. This is what it looks like when it's not scored. But I like to put a V for Virginia in mine, or V for victory. Danette is my pen name, but I don't want to put a D. It's harder to make. A V is easy, see? Then you just pick it up and you just take it over to your pan. And I put them all facing the same way so that they can be more snug, so I can fit more in the pan. And then what I'm going to do is take an egg wash that I made. I'm going to put a nice glaze on it. I put the oven at 335. And these are going to go in for 40 minutes at 335. You don't want to put it too high so that the inside will cook pretty well. I mean, my filling's cooked, but you know, you want to heat it up again. So I'll make a few of these. I'm sure you don't want to see me roll all of them out, so I'll just pause now and come back to you. Okay, so I'm still moving right along, rolling things out. I hope you guys are having a good day. Just remember, you can have either a reaction to people or a response. A reaction is like something immediate, it's emotional, it's not thought through. But having a response is something that you think about, you take your time. So just be prepared when life's moments hit you. You can be ready with an answer. Instead of with being filled with anger, you can just be professional and say, well, have a nice day, you know, or be ready with your answer, because we're always going to be faced, especially at those family holiday times. Make a determination to treat each other with respect and kindness. You'll go a long way. I've had to do that just intentionally. You think about it ahead of time, decide what you want to do. The biggest thing is it takes practice. I have to go get more meat from my pan. Another little secret that I do when I get through with all of these, that one is too thick. When I get done with all these, if I still have pie filling left, I will just eat it. I tell myself I'm saving the carbs by only eating the filling, even though it has potato, carrot, flour. There's a little bit of flour because you have to thicken it somehow. So, you know, I might not be a professional chef. I'm just doing it at home because I like it. I have some friends that are going to teach me how to make epo rio and to just improve on my egusi. I like to make egusi soup. I love it. It's my favorite. And I want to just get better at making that pounded yam. You have to stir it and stir it and stir it. I actually have a video, maybe I'll share it, of myself making actual pounded yam when I was in Nigeria. I didn't get too far before the lady said, here, let me do it for you. That's how it is, right? When you know how to do something, and somebody, you're trying to teach them, but there comes to a point where you just say, here, let me show you. So that's what she did. And wow, did she really pound that yam. It was really nice for my husband to come home to that treat at his own house, you know, made by this white lady with the help of my neighbor. The one thing that I learned in Nigerian culture is you get a lot of support from people. This lady knew I was going to be alone all day, and she came over because my husband had important business to attend to. She came over, she stayed with me all day. We went to the market, we cooked, we talked, we sang, we shared all kinds of things. She was quite a blessing to me. And you will find that a lot with Nigerians. They don't just come over for a little 10-minute visit. You know, when my son passed away, I had people coming to my house day and night, and they would stay for a while. Just sit and visit. I missed one. And be a blessing to me. You know, I needed that more than I could have told anybody. I needed somebody to be there for me when I was grieving. You know, we always do. Don't tell yourself you can make it alone. But anyway, I'm going back to this culture. You know, the culture, these people are there for you. That's all, that's what I really want to say. Like, no matter what, and it challenged me to be there more for my friends. Shortly after the one trip to Nigeria where the lady hung out with me, she supported me. She made my day go by fast. I wasn't just sitting around missing my husband and feeling lonely. You know, she really, really blessed me. So when my friend was in the hospital after this, I went and stayed. I stayed for a few hours. I had charting to do. I just brought my computer with me and I did it. I just stayed. I'm gonna get a paper towel. So, and my husband is like that too. He's there for me. You know, he supports me. He gives me all of that he can give. He's a hard-working man. It's really tough sometimes, you know. Let me see if I can get 2 more on here. I think I can. Didn't score this one. So, you know, I just want to be that blessing God created me to be. Some of these, if they turn out a little sloppy, those are the ones that stay home and we eat them. You know, like when you make cookies, right? I'm gonna make cookies too. I feel like doing it today. The only problem is if I don't sleep, I'm gonna be a bear at work tonight. So I should try to force myself to sleep for a little while. It's almost 2. I gotta be up for work by 6 o'clock p.m. So I'll probably just finish these up. No cookies this week. Next week's Christmas, I'll bring cookies and tray bake and sweets, and everybody's diabetes will go through the roof, right? So, giving it a good egg wash. And when I'm done baking them, I will show you how nice they are. This is always a blessing to me. And I just turned the video on because I wanted to talk to you guys. I miss you. I hardly ever get to share. And, you know, I miss other people's videos sometimes because I'm busy, you know. I'm busy working in the psych hospital and in the group homes. Look, these are good. Okay, I'll be back. In fact, let me just show you. This is what it is. When it's all done, it tastes pretty good. Everybody's blessed by it. I call it the Oyinbo meat pie because I'm a white lady. Though I try not to use that word too much because it confuses people. But it's good. God bless you. Have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for looking at my video. Tell me if you want me to share it. I think what I'll do is download it to YouTube and send the link. And the recipe is at All Nigerian Cooking on YouTube. I'll try to attach the link also. God bless you. Merry Christmas.